Hey, we are live. Welcome everyone. My name is Brian. I'm the founder of the Add1Challenge, where everyone, language learners around the world, like everybody who's in the call, join together to aim for the same goal of being able to hold a 15-minute conversation in 90 days. And today we got a polyglot, Lucas from Brazil. Hey,
Hello, everyone.
Lucas.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
And Lucas is going to be here to answer some of the burning questions for people who are in the Add1Challenge right now. So these people, so everybody in the Add1Challenge are learning a language, learning to speak a language in 90 days, to hold a 15-minute conversation in 90 days. So so we only have half an hour, so we just want to go right at it. So who wants to ask the question first? Don't be shy. I know you'll go, John. I knew it. I knew it.
Okay. How's it going, Lucas?
Yeah, all good.
So what's your best strategy for like in terms of comprehension for listening to like the cadence in between sentences and like clauses in any language really? Because that's like kind of what I'm focusing on right now is how to listen to the cadence and the speed and the rhythm of I'm learning Korean. So yeah.
Sorry, could you repeat the question?
Yeah. Do you have any specific strategies in terms of comprehension for when you're listening, specifically listening to the cadence of a language and the rhythm and the flow? Like, do you have any? Because I've been using like Audacity to watch like the sound waves or stuff like that, or I was just kind of curious if you had any specific strategies for that.
All right. Well, actually, I have tried a few strategies. Like, for example, um, the shadowing technique. I think you have probably heard of the shadowing technique. Do you know what it is?
Kind of, not really, but I've heard about it.
Well, it's basically when you try to repeat simultaneously everything you're hearing.
Okay.
And I think that if I try to focus on what I'm listening to, then I don't understand as well as I would if I don't push too hard, if I don't really concentrate. I think for comprehension, I think the best way is just to relax and try to just see the big picture and then not focus on the words or on the sentences on the flow or on everything, because if you focus on the flow or on periods or I don't know on the sentences, I think I believe it will make it harder to understand what the person is trying to say.
So relax, you mean?
Yeah, I would say not just or maybe just focus on the big picture. So what is the context? Where are we? What are we talking about? Like, I've been learning Finnish now for 5 months, and I have been recently to Finland, and I noticed that if I would try to understand what people are saying, I would not understand. I will only understand if I forget that I'm trying to practice Finnish, and then if I just focus on the conversation, not on the language.
Got it. Awesome. Cool. All right. So next question. Let me see. Okay, this is a question from someone who's in the Add1Challenge, but he's not here right now. He said, "How do you deal with mixing up languages?" This is a very popular question because everybody wants to learn all the languages at the same time, but it usually doesn't work. How do you deal with mixing up language when you know multiple languages? How do you prevent interference of each language?
All right. Yeah, good question. I don't think that there's a perfect way to do it and not to mix up languages, but I do like using Anki for reviewing vocab, and I like to, for example, if I'm learning Ukrainian and I already know Russian, because these two languages are similar, I will use Russian as a reference to study Ukrainian. So I make sure that my brain realizes that, okay, so even for example, even for the words that are the same in both languages, I try to make sure that when I'm reviewing, I must say, wow, this word is exactly the same, or this word is just one letter changes, and so for not mixing up languages, I try to study similar languages through similar languages.
You trying to study similar language to not mix them up? Wow.
Yeah. No, I mean, for example, if you speak Italian and you want to learn Spanish,
Yeah.
I think that it makes sense to use, for example, Italian books to study Spanish, so that your brain realizes, okay, so the source language is Italian, and that the language I'm learning is Spanish. Because if the reference, for example, is English for both languages, so if you have used only materials in English to study Spanish and Italian, I believe that you eventually will mix them up.
I totally understand. I just haven't tried it yet. It's just kind of bizarre sounds, but maybe this could work. I don't know. All right, cool. So let's get a question in from people in the Hangout.
So for example, if I'm trying to learn the word for door in Italian, for example, I might remember it in Spanish, but not in Italian if I have studied this word through English. But if I have studied the word for door in Spanish, then when I try to speak Italian, I will remember the word in Spanish, and then I will have a link to Italian.
Yeah, I see. I get that makes sense. So you're not mixing it up this way.
I like a level. So level 1 is my strongest language. So for example, Russian, and then Ukrainian. So whenever I try to speak Ukrainian, I will probably think in Russian, and then I will try to make sure that I'm not using Russian words.
Interesting. Cool. All right. So let's get a question from the people in the Hangout.
Sure.
Yeah, Brian. Yes, you're raising your hand.
Yeah. So my question is, have you ever heard of? So my question has to do with getting native feedback for writing.
Yes.
So have you ever heard of Lang8?
Yes.
Yeah. So I do like the website because you can get native speaker feedback for writing, but I find it can be kind of hit and miss because some people can write really good corrections and other people can write really bad corrections. Like they'll just say, oh yeah, everything looks good, but it clearly isn't all good. Because you earn the same number of points whether you write a really good correction or a really bad one. So there's not necessarily an incentive. So have you ever, for writing, have you ever tried to form like a pen pal relationship with a specific person, like a more focused particular relationship with a few people to get writing feedback, kind of the same way that you do Skype exchanges to get native speaker feedback when practicing your speaking? Or do you think it's better to use a tutor when you're trying to improve writing?
Once I got into this website, and then I was trying to figure out what would be the best way to get good corrections. And my final answer is that, I think it might be easier just to hire someone to to do the corrections.
Yeah, because sometimes I feel like writing more so, because a lot of people have an intuitive sense of speaking, but people might not have as intuitive a sense of how to correct.
Fiverr?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
You know this website called Fiverr?
I've never heard of it. How do you spell that?
Yeah, it's I think
Fivver.
Sivver?
Yep, Fiverr.
Yeah, so you can find people to provide proofreading services for $5, and they can correct a text with 1,000 words for $5.
Oh wow! Which I'll never write anything that long for a very long time.
Maybe you can get 3 texts for $5, and then they do corrections that's made by.
So it's Sivver.
Fivver.
Oh, Fivver. Yeah, it's hard to hear with the.
It's a website where anybody will do any job for $5. So,
okay, I see.
So you can find someone to translate or really do good translation, and they have incentive to do a good job because
Oh, okay.
they'll
That's
give me
very
money.
that's
So
very cool.
usually 1,000 words. That's only $5 proofreading.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right,
'Cause,
Brian.
okay.
Write up,
Thank
safe
you.
up your sentences and your writings. All right.
Alright,
So let's get a question in from people who are in the Add1Challenge email list. Okay. All right. This question is from Tommy. In the community, how do you get your target language speakers to speak with you in their language? For instance, I'm Portuguese Brazilian. I'm in a Portuguese community, but all they want to do is speak English, even if I tell them to help me to speak mostly in Portuguese.
Let me see if I understood it correctly. So he's in a Facebook community or what?
No. Okay, so he wants to practice Portuguese, but the Brazilian only want to speak English with him. How do you get the Brazilian to speak Portuguese with him so they can practice Portuguese?
Okay. Now I get it. The question. Well, my strategy, I have tried many things. My current strategy is just to keep speaking the language, and most of the cases it just works. After 5-6 sentences, they would just turn to the language. They will just switch to the language I'm speaking.
Got it.
If not, then I will ask them, could we please speak Portuguese?
I see.
And I'll just keep going. I'll keep speaking Portuguese, and then eventually they will switch back to Portuguese.
Got it. That's a good one. Just keep speaking it. Don't get frustrated. Don't be mad. Just keep doing it.
I think that it's much more useful to keep speaking the language than asking the person to speak Portuguese, and then let's imagine that I want to practice with you Cantonese, and I ask you, can you speak Cantonese to me? And then you say one sentence, and I say a sentence in English, then we'll switch back to English. So instead of asking you, I think it makes more sense just to keep speaking Cantonese as much as possible. Even if I don't have a good vocabulary, I will try to at least use the words I know in Cantonese, and or maybe make the sentence in Cantonese, and the words I don't know I will use English. But I'll just try to keep speaking Cantonese from the very beginning.
Got it.
And I have noticed that it's usually not a very good idea to start a conversation in English, and after, let's say, 10 minutes, can we now please practice some Portuguese? It doesn't work because the person recognizes you as an English speaker. So my strategy is to start all the way from the beginning on the target language.
Start with the target language, not with English. Got it. Very good. That's very good feedback. All right, let's take in a question in the Hangout. Anybody got a question? Kirsten, I know you have a question. You want to ask a question?
I want to know how many hours you study every day, and if you study each language of your 12 languages every day.
Well, I don't have a specific schedule, but I try to keep in touch with friends that speak different languages as much as possible. So instead of thinking, well, today I have to study 3 hours and then I will study 30 minutes German, 30 minutes Spanish, I think that languages now, they just are a part of my life, and I have friends in different languages, and I'll just try to keep in touch with them. But I don't like to think it as a study that I'll have to sit down and study for 3 or 4 hours. Yes, it's very difficult to practice 12 languages every day, and that's one of the reasons why I'm working on a project now called the Polyglot Workout, where we are writing a story. We are writing a story about Tom. Tom is a polyglot, and we get translations from this story in many languages. So I get these messages every day on my phone, and then I try to guess what the translation will be in different languages. And that's how I try to practice at least a little bit of each language every day. So for example, today the sentence was, and today I'm going to tell an incredible story. Then I go to the Russian chat, I try to think what the translation will be, and then I check. And if I'm correct, then I go to the German chat, and to the Spanish chat, to the Polish chat, and then I see the same sentence in all these different languages. That's how I found to practice at least a little bit every day of each language.
I see. Cool. All right. So next question. This is so let's do. Okay, this is a good question. This question is also from someone in the Add1Challenge, and actually he's in the past Add1Challenge. He asked, when is a good time to start learning the next language? I've been learning Turkish for a year and almost to B2 level now, but I'm hesitating a lot to move on to another language because I feel like that I need to work more on Turkish. How do you know when to start a new language?
I think it depends on many factors. First of all, is the second language related to Turkish or not? If it's a language similar to Turkish, then probably it's a better idea to wait until he has a very high level in Turkish.
If it's what? Can you say that again, slowly?
Yeah, so if he wants to study a language that is similar to Turkish, I would wait until I have a very good level in Turkish before moving to the next language.
Yeah.
But he has a B2 right in Turkish, so I believe that he already can hold conversations in Turkish quite easily, right?
Yes, he can.
If he has a B2 level, then I don't see any harm in moving to a language, to a next language.
Got it. So, all right, B2 level. You're good. You can move on.
A final answer will be, I think I'm ready to move to the next language once I feel confident in speaking the first language. And if the language is similar to a language that I already speak, then I would probably wait longer.
Got it. If it's a similar language, you wait longer.
Yes.
And if it's not, you speak. Got it. Cool. Awesome. All right. So next question. Okay. This question is from the Why don't we get in a question in the Hangout? Anybody got a question? Eli, Ashley, Nikki. All right, Ashley.
So what is your most embarrassing moment learning your second language? Like, have you ever made a really embarrassing, said something really embarrassing that you didn't intend to say in a language you're learning, or did you ever, what was your most embarrassing moment in the process of learning a language?
Ashley, okay.
Okay, so it was probably in Finnish. I wanted to say, it was the first time I ever spoke Finnish, and I wanted to say the weather is nice today. Oh, sorry, the sun is shining or something, and then shining and the word shit. They are very similar in Finnish, and then I the sun is shitting today or something.
And what was their reaction to? What was the person who was their reaction?
I think that people are usually very tolerant to mistakes, and they just started laughing, and so I wouldn't even say that it was an embarrassing moment. I think that people are usually more tolerant than we think. They accept more mistakes than we tend to believe.
Yeah. Thank you.
Cool. All right. All right. So next question. This question is from Klaus, who's in the Add1Challenge email list. He said, "I'm learning Swedish, but I'm also studying Polish and Indonesian. What is the best method to study them all at once, or separately in time?
So what is the first language? Swedish? Indonesian?
Swedish, yeah, Swedish, Polish, and Indonesian. What is the best method to study them? All at once or separately in time?
Separately, of course.
Like
Yeah.
when you say separately, what do you mean by that? Can you be a little more specific?
Yes. I'll probably try to choose the easiest one. So, so his name is Klaus, right? Do you know where he comes from?
No, I don't know where he comes from.
Well, let's say that he only speaks English. It would probably be easier to learn Swedish or Indonesian than Polish. So I'll probably try to figure out what the easiest language will be to learn. Probably Swedish or I don't know, maybe Indonesian.
Yeah.
Of course, it depends on his mother language, and then I will try to reach a conversational level in one language, and then move to the next language, and then to the next. Them all at once.
So you mean you focus on one language at a time, and then you move on after you get to a confident level?
Yes. Once I can hold the conversations in the language, I say, okay, now this language can grow by itself. You know, it's I don't have to focus on this language anymore. Even though I'm learning Finnish now, I still practice all the other languages I speak, or at least I try to practice all of them.
But you focus on one.
Yeah, I just focus on one language at a time.
Yes, that's right.
Reach the conversational level, and then I go to the next language.
Great advice. Yes, one at a time, guys. One at a time. All right, cool. Okay, so here's a question. Okay, what do you think? Okay, this question's from someone from the Add1Challenge. How do you deal with burnout? If there's no more motivation, what do you do to keep going?
Yeah. Well, I try to remind myself why I'm learning the language.
Okay.
And I think that the best way to boost motivation is to learn a language quickly, because you see the results all the time, and you want to keep going. So maybe if she doesn't have motivation, or maybe a good way to gain motivation again is to start learning the language very, very intensively, like every day, and seeing the results coming faster.
How about burnout though? Like, you know, sometimes you get tired. You get like, when you study too intensively, you get burned out, right? So.
Yeah, in this case, yeah, it does happen to me quite frequently, and then I just forget about the language for a week or two, and I just try to focus on something else, and then it comes back.
You know, or you take a break.
Yeah. So either ways could be very helpful, right? So either taking a break or studying more intensively.
Got it. Study more intensely or take a break. Try whatever.
Yeah, just change what you're doing now. So you're
change what you're doing now. Great.
Week. So yeah, maybe it's now time to change for 4 hours per week, or maybe to take a break and then wait for 2 to 3 weeks to get back to study.
Got it. Up to hours or that's good. You just try different things and whatever you're doing right now, and see if it works. All right, cool. Let's see. Eli, do you have a question? No? Nikki?
It's the usual one. I've started learning Turkish before my Comanche was at a very high level, because I needed Turkish first to see what's happening in Kurdistan.
Yes.
And I'm getting them a bit confused, because there are many similar words, although the grammar is completely different.
Mm-hmm.
At the moment, I'm I'm just doing Turkish and rather than neglecting Comanche. But what would your advice be?
So the question is, how can we separate two languages? Or?
Yeah.
Because you said they are very similar. What is the second language? So it's Turkish, and you had a very high level in Turkish, and then, sorry, I cannot hear very well. Can you hear me?
Yeah. So, Nikki, so you mean your question how to separate those Comanche and Turkish?
Yeah.
And she's been learning Comanche for, I don't know, 8 months. Is that right, Nikki?
Yeah. Yeah.
Eight
The
months.
level's not very high because I didn't find a teacher,
Yeah.
and I've been doing it for 5 months, and then I only had a week with him. Intensive.
So.
And the question is how you can, what you can do not to mix these two languages up, right? Because the vocabulary is very similar.
Yeah.
As I mentioned before, I really like using Anki for reviewing vocabulary. So maybe it would be a good idea to have a comprehensive list of words in these two languages, and then just compare the words. So, for example, how do you say window in Turkish? And then, okay, I know how to say it in Turkish, and now what will be in the language be? And instead of trying to just study all from English.
Cool.
So trying to review vocabulary in both languages.
All right, just try it out. I guess, Nikki, you can tell us how it goes.
Yeah, I've been thinking of doing that, in fact.
Okay.
Because some words are virtually the same, with a slight vowel change. Other words, I forget the most elementary word in Comanche, but it comes to me in Turkish. And so again, if I have the two, I think that would probably help. But it doesn't work with sentences because the word order is completely different. Because I tried that once.
Yeah, I know what I mean. Like I was studying Russian and Polish, and sometimes I would mix up even very easy words like but, and I was speaking Russian, but then I would say but in Polish, and and then I started using Anki, and so in the front, so I don't know how familiar you are with Anki, but so in the front, I would get the word in Russian, and I would try to remember how to say it in Polish, and then the other way around, I would see the word in Polish. How do I say that in Russian? And then I will check the answer.
Cool. All right. Cool. Now let's wrap this up. This question is from. This is kind of like a personal question, not really a personal question. This question is from Oceana from the Add1Challenge email list. She want to ask you what you think about how Russian people think about other people.
I must admit that before I studied Russian, I thought that all Russians were crazy and I couldn't understand them.
Yeah.
And but once I started learning the language, I started understanding why they act the way they do. And
you start understanding why they're crazy.
Yeah, and then I realized that actually they are not crazy. It's just another way to see the world.
I see.
So, and because it's too different, it might seem that they are, I don't know, arrogant or other bad qualities people like to qualify them.
I think the question is about what do you think about Russian people, how they think about other people. How do you think Russian think about other people?
Well, I think it depends on which people we're talking about. So
it's just a fun question, I think. Let's not take this too seriously. Yeah.
So for example, if we're talking about people that come from the former Soviet Union countries, then that maybe might look down on them. But yeah, it really depends on who you're talking about.
Yeah.
So Russians think differently about Ukrainians and Germans, for example.
Yeah, totally. All right, awesome. Well, let's finish this. Well, thank you so much for your time, Lucas. Is there anything how can people find you? Is there any new exciting project that you're working on you want to tell us about?
Well, people can find me on Facebook. I will write my Facebook here, and also
Can you tell us, like, because people watching this can't see what we type.
okay, so it's Lucas Rafael Pereira.
Ooh.
People can also find me on languageboost.biz. That's a new project I'm working on with my friend Jan van der A.
Okay. Yeah,
and,
Jan.
We are working on the project on a project called Polyglot Workout, and I believe will be ready in December. So
Cool. All right. Polyglot Workout. Looking forward to it. So hope you guys
you can also look for Polyglot Workout on Facebook.
Polyglot Workout
And
on Facebook.
we are also creating different pages for people that want to practice like the language they are learning. So if you type learn and then the language you're learning, so for example, learn Turkish now, you'll find a page on Facebook where we come with a new word and a new sentence every day. Yeah.
From Polyglot Workout.
Yeah, from Polyglot Workout.
Okay, cool. So I'll include your Facebook. So this is so you don't mind adding people on Facebook? Is that your Facebook link?
Yeah, that's my Facebook.
So
yes.
I'll include this below the video. That's how you then you can add Lucas as a friend. All right. So thank you everybody for watching. And if you'd like to join the next Add1Challenge, the next Add1Challenge coming up in a few weeks. So go on to add1challenge.com and sign up to get notified, and when we open, we'll let you know. Thank you everybody for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you. Thanks everybody.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.